Steph's out at a hairdressing salon this morning, looking where the service industries are helping the UK's economy grow, and presumably getting a shot back inside at the same time. Morning, Steph.
Good morning to you both. Yeah, despite appearances, I am not going to be here to get a pampering. I'm here to talk about the service sector, and I promise I will not touch your hair. Don't panic, I won't be dyeing that or anything. They won't let me loose with any scissors here, but I'm here to talk about the services sector because we had the gloomy news last week that the economy is further in recession than we originally thought, and the CBI have got research out this week which says that actually things in the service sector are looking a bit better than they were. Now, it is a very big sector. It accounts for more than 3/4 of our total economic output, and it covers a really broad sector. You've got everything from banking, tourism, legal services and personal care, i.e. hairdressing. That's one of the things that accounts in those figures. Now, hairdressing at the moment, there are around 34,000 salons across the UK, and they employ about 250,000 people, so it is a big employer in the country. And there are people out there who say, well, actually it's also a good economic indicator, because if you look at how many people are getting their hair done, it's a good indication of actually how the economy is doing at the moment. And so the National Hairdressing Federation say that during the crisis things were really tough and you had more salons closing than were opening, but now things are starting to pick up again, and they're saying there's now around 14,000 vacancies across the country for highly skilled hairdressers. So I'm going to be talking to some of them a bit later about how the industry is doing, and I might even convince them to let me get the scissors out and have a bit of the chop of the hair. What do you think it should look like? She doesn't know yet.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll be back a bit later.
It's incredibly big. You're
Talk to you both then.
Do they always have that many customers at 6:15 though, Steph? There?
I know. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. There are not normally this many people at this time of the morning. There's a big competition on today. It's the L'Oreal Colour Trophy. So these are some of the people who will be competing a bit later on, and some of the people who will be involved in it.
Brilliant. Okay. Thanks, Steph.
Steph, thanks very much indeed. 17 minutes past 6. Economists believe one of the best ways to learn about our economy is to check how frequently we're getting our haircuts. Can you believe it? So we've sent Steph to a hairdressing salon.
Oh, she's dispensing advice. That's dangerous for whoever's sitting there in the chair.
So, yeah, so all off, Claire, yeah? Bless you. Morning, everyone. She said to me, please, Steph, do not come anywhere near me with that razor. God bless her. Victoria, I'll let you come back in and take over there. Yes, good morning. I'm in a hair salon in West London today because we're doing a story about the services sector. There's some research out from this the Confederation of British Industry, which says that the service sector is actually doing better than was originally thought and is now starting to recover. I'm just going to grab a few people here to talk to about it. Emily, good morning to you. You've got a salon up in Leeds, haven't you? How's business for you at the moment?
Well, great. Well, we opened about 2 years ago up in the recession, so the height of the recession, and it's just getting busier and busier. So
why do you think that is?
Well, I think basically people are cutting back everywhere else in life, and our clients just aren't prepared to cut back on hair, and something that's quality will last them longer, so they're prepared to pay the money.
They want to make sure they look good even when times are hard. Okay, well, I'll let you carry on because I know you're busy there sorting out that lady's hair. Well, also we've got with us Vincent, who is one of the managers at L'Oreal. Good morning to you, Vincent.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming down so early. I know you're not normally this busy on a morning. But in terms of the industry as a whole, we heard from Emily there with her salon in Leeds, and it's doing quite well. But what do you make of the sector? Because you're involved with over 30,000 salons in the UK.
It's fair to say that at the beginning of the crisis we saw a decline of visits, but now things are very different. And it's normal because even more in times of crisis, men and women want to look good and to feel good. So the best is to go to the hairdressers.
But even still, if you want to look and feel good, you don't necessarily have the money to do that. Have you had to change your prices? Or?
No, I think the key to success for the salons and for L'Oreal has been to bring new services and new innovation. Every time you have a new idea or a new reason to go back to the salons, like a new colour, a colour without ammonia, like Inoa, for instance.
And the industry employs over 250,000 people, and you think that's going to increase?
You can really get a dream career when you join the industry, and it's very important to say that now we have even 14,000 vacancies in the industry.
14,000 vacancies. Wow.
So time is now to really join the industry.
Yeah,
really.
You would say that though. It is a much wider sector though in services. It includes banking, tourism, legal services, lots more involved in it. It accounts for 3/4 of our total economic output. And I've also got an economist here with me this morning. Good morning to you, Ian from Deloitte. Just tell us how the industry is doing as a whole in terms of services. Hairdressing is just a tiny part of it, isn't it?
Absolutely. The service sector is really the growth sector of the UK economy. In the last 20 years, employment in services has risen by about 50%. There's been no double dip in the services sector in recent quarters. The rest of the economy has gone into recession, but the service sector is still growing.
Which parts of it are doing well then? Because it can't be all of it, can it?
It's a mixed picture. What we see is that business and professional services, so things like design, architecture, finance, have been really strong growth sectors in recent years. And I think that hopes for the UK economy rest very heavily on continued growth in the service sector, and particularly in business and professional services.
Okay, well, thanks for your time this morning, Ian. I know you're desperate to get in one of the chairs and get a red. Was that the colour you said you wanted?
Definitely.
I'll be over later to do that. Anyway, for now, back to you both. I'll be back a bit later on. Probably victimising more people in the chairs here.
All right, extraordinary things in that lady's hair just behind you. It looks like, well, yeah, pipes of some sort.
It's rollers, Bill. You know those things you get on a morning when you're sat in makeup?
Well, when I take my toupee off the peg, yeah. Okay, thanks, see you later. You'd never know though, would you? Good morning, it's Monday the 28th of May.
Also ahead this morning, the Leveson inquiry calls Tony Blair to give evidence. He'll be asked how much influence he allowed Rupert Murdoch to have over his decisions.
Good morning. Research out this week suggests that the services sector is in recovery. Now, it's an industry that accounts for 3/4 of our total economic output, and I've come to one part of it, hairdressing, to find out more.
Would you believe financial experts say one of the best ways to check on the state of the economy is to look at how frequently we're getting our hair cut?
So we sent Steph to a hairdressing salon to find out more. Working hard, are you, Steph, or just getting everyone else to work hard around you?
Oh, do you know what? It's just not working for me, this. You just can't get the staff. Carry on. Go and get some more practice. Morning, everyone. Yes, I'm in a hair salon to talk about the services sector, because hairdressing is one of the key parts of the industry, and it's an industry that accounts for more than 3/4 of the economy. And I'm just going to find out how it's doing. Let me just interrupt here. Sorry to interrupt. Good morning to you, Jade.
Hello, Steph.
You've got a salon up north, haven't you, in Leeds?
Yes,
How's it going at the moment?
Yeah, at Russell Eaton it's going really well actually. Since winning the L'Oreal Colour Trophy, we've been mega busy. Especially now the sun shines out, people are flocking in.
Why do you think that is? Do you think they're cutting back on other things? Or?
Yeah, I think no matter what they're doing, if they can't afford anything else, they're going to still spend it on the hair. But seeing as in Vogue and in OK magazine, you know, they know we're there, we're quite up there, so
someone's
keeps
patting
us
my hair
busy.
down as we're going here as well. Well,
Yeah.
thanks for your time this
Thank
morning. I'll
you.
let you get on, Jed. Well, also with us is the owner of this salon, Richard Ward. Good morning to you,
Hello,
Richard.
Steph. Good
Very
morning.
busy in here. I know you don't normally have this many people in at this time, so thanks for that.
But I'd love to see it this busy, I can tell you.
I bet you do. How's the industry from your perspective at the moment?
Well, this year's been actually amazing for us at Richard. Well, we've seen growth for about 15 to 17%, but I think that's all about the customer experience. It's giving value for money. Now, that doesn't mean cheap haircuts, but it's giving people a wonderful experience when they come in.
But people are still struggling with money, so there must be, you know, do you think, often people will tell you what's going on in their lives in the hairdressing seat, won't they?
will.
Are they cutting back on other things?
They are cutting back, and in these times of austerity, we did see a bit of a dip in the industry, literally about 2007, but slowly these customers have come back to us. But what we found is we really need to up the game and make sure you create an environment where people have to come back.
Okay, well, thanks for your time this
You're
morning,
welcome.
Richard. I'll let you get back on. But it's not just hairdressing, of course, in the services sector. You've got things like legal services, banking, tourism. And look, I've managed to find an economist in here as well this morning. Good morning to you, Ian.
Good morning.
Just tell us, in terms of the sector as a whole, it's an important one for our economy, isn't it? How's it doing as a whole?
The service sector is really important. It accounts for around about 50–60% of all jobs. There's been no double dip recession in the service sector. It's continuing to grow, and I think hopes for the economy rest very heavily on whether the service sector continues to perform strongly.
It must be a mixed picture though, because it does cover so many different areas, restaurants and things like that as well, which have had more of a harder time than others.
Yeah, it's a big sector, and what we've seen over the last 20 years is the real strength has been in areas like business and professional services, so things like architecture, design, financial services, and I think the hopes of the economy really are going to rest on growth in that area.
Okay, well thanks for your time this morning, Ian. I'll let you get back on. I have to tell you, earlier on Ian was on an earlier slot, and then his mum rang him and said, while you're there, sort your hair out. Honestly, this morning it's been a right morning of it. He's had rollers in, he's had the works, a bit like you on a morning, Bill.
Yeah, thanks very much. Well, we both need it. Thanks very much, Steph.
I just can't get in the makeup and hair room when you're around in the morning.
There's a lot to do. 6 minutes to 8. It's 20 minutes past 8. Steph's been finding out this morning it's the services we provide, not what we make, that's driving growth in the UK. She's at a hairdressing salon for us, and you're the third sister, really, aren't you? Look at that. Oh, yes.
Right, what are we doing here, Ian, then?
Just a little trim,
just a little bit off, yeah. I better give you them back, Kelly. Good luck with that. Sorry. Yes, I'm at a hairdressing salon in West London this morning to talk about the services sector, because hairdressing is a part of that. Now, it is a massive sector, and it accounts for 3/4 of the entire economy, and it includes things like banking, tourism, legal services. When you go to restaurants and bars, that's all included as well. And there's some research out this week which suggests that things are getting better in the services sector, and actually it's faring much better than manufacturing and construction, which we have talked about a lot on the programme. So hopefully it will help to lift us out of that gloom. You remember last week we had the latest GDP figure. That's the measure of how our economy is doing, and it basically told us that we're further in recession than we originally thought. Now, in terms of hairdressing, there are around 34,000 salons across the UK, and it employs more than 250,000 people across the country. And they say things are getting better. During the financial crisis, it was very tough in 2008. They took a real dip. The National Federation of Hairdressers say that things, though, now are picking up. And if you ask an economist how the economy is doing, sometimes they'll say to you, well, hairdressing is a good indicator of it, because if you want to know how well the economy is doing, look at how many people are getting their hair cut. And it looks like things, certainly here, it's busy this morning. I'm going to be let loose with some rollers next, I think, if I can manage to convince you. I think they want me out of the salon, to be honest. I've caused enough damage this morning. But for now, back to you both.
Rollers safer than scissors, I think, actually. Well done, Steph. Thanks very much.